The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has charged a Lagos-based lawyer, Ebun Adegborua, with obtaining money under false pretenses to the tune of 61 million naira. Court records show that the lawyer is to be arraigned on a one-count charge before Justice Oluremi Oguntoyibo of the Federal High Court, Lagos, on Thursday, May the 12th. In the charge sheet, the EFCC says Mr. Adegborua and one Jonathan Udeabala in August 2013 allegedly conspired to lease a property situated at House 105 Nikon Town Estate in Lekki, Lagos, to a company named Shelf Drilling Nigeria Limited for the sum of 61,631,944 naira 65 kobo. The property is under an interim forfeiture by the Justice Christopher Balogun of the Lagos State High Court. The money was reportedly credited to Mr. Adegborua's Zenith bank account, and the EFCC says this is an offence punishable under Section 32, subsection 1 of the EFCC Act 2004. Now, before the president left for London, he asked participants at a forum to utilize agri-businesses and the solid minerals sector to grow the economy. He was speaking at the Katsina State Economic and Investment Summit, tagged Unlocking Investment Potentials for Sustainable Development. The state governor, Aminu Mazari, who appears to have bought into the president's vision, told participants that the state is well positioned to serve as an export hub for commodities in which the state has competitive advantage, especially cotton and sugar.
Katsina State.
For a state that was once ranked 7th in the ease of doing business in Nigeria by the World Bank, Katsina State, just like other states, is faced with the challenges of population growth and dwindling revenues. The way out of this is to simply think out of the box.
The state is ranked first in cotton production. We are working to fully exploit the cotton value chain to meet local demand and become a net exporter of the commodity after considerable value addition. Katsina State is already the second largest sugarcane producer in the country, and we intend to become the largest producer of refined sugar capable of meeting local consumption and export.
The president, who is the special guest at the forum, aligns with the plans of the state government, which he believes are good catalysts for job creation.
Creatively and purposefully applied, this should help to bridge gaps in capital, management skills, and technology where they are most severe, and support the competences of local companies and the workforce towards world standards. This would enable both local and foreign manufacturers and services companies alike to stand with the best in servicing local and global markets.
And the federal government explains its role in creating the right atmosphere for businesses to thrive.
Steps which include removal of restrictions of foreign ownership of business in Nigeria, except in limited circumstances. Introduction of legislations to prevent businesses from being nationalized or exported by the Nigerian government, and protection against investors being forced to surrender their interest in their businesses.
A key player in the private sector gives first-hand counsel of how to attract investors into your domain.
Start with your local investors or those who are already here with you. If they are happy and making good, they will definitely invest more, and the foreigners will queue in. Foreign direct investment always follows local direct investment.
The president promises to partner with Katsina and indeed any other state that shows promising initiatives with workable strategies. Mary Alale Yusuf, Channels Television News.
Now let's get some more insight into that summit now. Our correspondent Larry Lasisi is on the ground there, and he joins me now from Katsina. Hey Larry.
And let me also thank Your Excellency for joining us at the news at 10.
Thank you.
Now, before we go into the summit proper, we'd just like to have your comments to the disparaging remarks made by the British Prime Minister, saying that Nigeria is fantastically corrupt.
Well, I think the statement coming from here is not a surprise, because with the revelations in EFCC, with the revelations of affecting the National Security Advisor, the closest sum of money, the Chief of Defense Staff, so many ministers, so many prominent Nigerians. And with the Minister of Petroleum in prison there, you don't know how much she has talked or what she has told the investigating authorities there. And this, what do you call them, Panama Papers, what do you now releasing over 200,000 transactions, offshore transactions, which so many Nigerians are involved. So I don't think he's just talking through nothing. He must have some information to back up his statement. And mind you, he is not referring, I believe, to the present government. He's referring to what had happened over the years, probably from records. Even here in Nigeria, if you say Nigerians are fantastically corrupt, I think it's, look at $2 billion, how many millions? Look at the amount the pension person took away, and look at the police pension. Name them. And how many prominent people are before the courts now, all on corruption?
So they feel that statement shouldn't have been made.
Well, that is diplomacy for you. If some people feel that diplomatically he shouldn't make that statement, that's another thing. But the fact of the matter is, based on what is known to every Nigerian, you can't say he is absolutely wrong. Maybe diplomatically, yes.
Okay. Now let's now look at the Katsina State Economic and Investment Forum, which you're hosting presently. How's it going thus far? What's the reaction you're getting from investors?
No, I think for us it's going very well, because we are collecting all the information we need for the next step. Because we are not stopping at the summit alone. What do we get out of the summit in terms of the needs for investors, in terms of the areas where we have seen so many investors are much more interested? These are the areas which we are going to concentrate. And we have also highlighted the areas that where the government is more interested. And we have seen some companies that have shown interest in those areas. Now it's for us now to properly package those areas. And we have seen and heard from the investors what they expect. We also have heard from the central bank the opportunities that are abound in small and medium-scale enterprises. These are the areas that we are more interested, especially the small and medium-scale enterprises, because we believe through that, using agriculture, we can put no less than 80% of our people to work.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much, Your Excellency, for having us. Well, I'll now hand you back. I'll hand back to you, Ijeoma, back in the studios.
Thanks a lot, Larry. Our correspondent there, Larry Lasisi in Katsina. It's the third edition of the Ogun State Investors Forum in Abeokuta, the state capital. This time, Governor Ibikule Amosun says a 5-cardinal program will help drive investors into the state. He also adds that vocational training has been included into the curriculum of various schools to boost their chances when they're through with their studies.
This is the third edition of the Ogun State Investors Forum. Investors, government officials and others are here to deliberate on ways to achieve sustainable economic development.
The issues surrounding environment is one that
Governor Ibikule Amosun and his team are positive that with the 5 cardinal programs of affordable education, efficient healthcare delivery, industrialization, affordable housing and employment generation, Ogun State will regain its pride of place.
Ogun State offers that what I call comparative advantage that maybe so many other states doesn't have. In all the 5 cardinal programs that we set out to do, we started with education, health, agriculture that will lead us to industrialization. It's deliberate, because we don't just want to do agriculture the way it is done without taking advantage of the value chain that agriculture offers. Then we talk about this urban renewal, housing and urban renewal. And the last one, by no means the least, which for me is even critical, is key, is infrastructural development.
And during a panel discussion on the impact of the environment on the economy, speakers are unanimous that a program of waste to wealth will help the state balance its economic losses with environmental gains.
Waste to wealth and the programs we want to do, we want to start beginning to talk to the private sector, those that produce plastics. What's your obligation to trying to keep the environment clean, and how can you partner with government to make that happen in making sure that not only do we take the waste away, but how do we create the jobs while we're doing that?
If we get into this project and investors are able to assist us in it, we're going to have watershed protection, we're going to have food security, water security, and all the issues around fossil fuels being used by industries that are many in the states now. We will also be mitigated, because majority of this company will be using what we know as renewable energy or biomass, and that will reduce the number of CO2 that we are generating currently.
Economic summits such as this usually bring up ideas which the state government will have to build on to make it an investment haven.
Joining me now to take a look at investing in the States is an investment economist, Mr. Joe Femi Dagunro. Thank you for joining us on the News at 10.
Thank you.
We've seen a number of summits being organized by different states across the country. What's your assessment of this new move, having economic summits, trying to do something differently?
Well, it's a welcome development. It's a very good development. At least that states are beginning to recognize that they don't need to wait on the federal government to do everything for them. It's good to have state economic summit, or call it in any business language you would like to call it. And at the same time, it showcases the states with their potentials. That means each state has its own peculiarities, and that's the most important thing. If you do the Global Nigeria Economic Summit, you just look at Nigeria, so this is what they have. You don't really know what is peculiar to a particular state. And I think the investors will begin to see which of the state is really interesting for me to really go in. And like Alhaji Dangote said, people will begin to see, if they see their local investors investing in those areas, investing in those states, that is when it will be more interesting for foreign investors to really interact with the existing, with the local people, because they can just come into Katsina or Lagos or any other state. So it's quite impressive. And I think it will go a long way if more support is being given by the federal government.
Looking at some of the sessions today, the breakout sessions, even in Ogun, I mean, they were praised today for their investment in the environment. And you saw what happened in Katsina as well, talking about agriculture, investment in security. So is this the way to go in terms of the diversifying of the economy that we've been talking about? Oh, sure.
You see, the more we begin to be very consistent in one particular direction, we said, look, we want to diversify our economy. We want to go into agriculture. We want to go into this mining. We want to go into, solid mineral. We want to develop this thing really. And because of that, we have to have a strong voice. And if all of us are having a strong voice in that direction, I think people will take us seriously. This is what they really want to do. There's no point if one is saying, a state is saying something different from what the policy of the federal government is. But they have to take it beyond the state level at the same time. You have to have this at the local level at the same time. The local government, they have a role to play. Not everybody will be at the main center. So these messages have to be taken to the local level as well.
All right, investment economist Mr. Joe Femi Dagunro, thanks for sharing your thoughts with us on the News at 10 tonight.
Thank you.